All right, we're live. I think. I'm planning on Chris doing all the talking on this one because I don't know what to say.
You only get 13 words today.
I'm just gonna stare at the wall, stare at the screen, drool a little bit. So we're back on our Thursday schedule. Maybe we'll start to promote this a little bit earlier at some point. But welcome to another live episode of us talking about a bunch of random crap and cueing you in on what it's like to be obsessed in whatever form this is that I've taken on. It's been a interesting ride, to say the least. I was feeling good this morning until I start to add up all of these projects that I made up that nobody knows I'm doing, that nobody cares about, but yet I have this like overwhelming pressure that I put on myself. And then while I'm stressing out about that, I just took on 7 more projects. And then you put someone's order from the Rupes event on my desk, and I'm like, oh crap. And then I get a text from somebody saying I'm ready to order this, and I'm like, oh crap. And so the 1M project that I started, that I was supposed to start on Monday, it's now Thursday, will probably never get done. So yeah,
this is the life you've chosen, Matt.
Yeah. So there you go. I'm now doing the doing of the stuff.
I have something that I think people would appreciate if we start out with, because last time, Tuesday of last week, as we were ending the podcast, the truck was pulling in with your seats for the E92, and so you posted a video about that, and so just tell us kind of the deal with the seats. How'd that go? Do you like them? That sort of thing.
Yeah, they're awesome. One is squeaking like crazy, of course the one I'm sitting in, so I've got to figure that out. And then I've got this dilemma. I didn't realize that there's a whole separate harness that you need for the seat heaters to work. So I'm pretty sure that harness that I just bought for another $100 is probably going to sit in the cabinet for infinity. I don't really care about seat heating. I mean, it's Florida, for gosh sakes, but it would be kind of cool to have it OE like. So I'm going to have to pull the driver's seat out and figure out what's going on with the squeak. The guy that I bought them from probably weighed 155, and now I'm stressing the weight of the rails. But they're amazing. I mean, it really transforms the car. So car's coming together. Wheels, I just got notification the wheels shipped or should ship. Apparently HRE is really good at not getting anything done ever. So, we're 2 months in, and then Sean's like, yeah, they'll ship sometime. If the wheels are done, they'll kind of ship them. They'll ship them when they ship them. You would think if you're paying $10,000 for wheels, they would like get them done fast and like ship them. I mean, how many wheels could they possibly be making? 100 sets a week? I don't know. It seems a little odd to me. But we'll see how they come, and this may be the first and last set of HREs I do. Whatever. The seats are great.
Excellent. All right, so the reason we did it on Tuesday last week, we had this YouTube live stream, was because you were leaving. You and your dad went to Colorado for the Rupes event, so just sort of speak to that. How did that go? It's a little different from the last event in that the class was smaller, so do you think that was kind of better or worse? Just sort of tell us how things went with that.
Yeah, man, it was awesome. I mean, we had 30 people-ish, so 30 people taking the training, I think 29, and then we had, the ride company guys came, Levi and Anthony, Dave Phillips and Bob Phillips from P&S came and dumped some knowledge on, we talked a lot about, silicon dioxide and silicon dioxide misuse, the discussion of companies using that, overusing that term. We were able to learn a lot. It's fascinating to watch Jason Rose train people. He clearly loves it. Like we're at 6 p.m. and he's still out there. They're out there trying to see how much effort it takes to burn through the clear coat of a painted panel. And so just to see him, and there's people crowded around him and just learning. So it's just awesome. It's almost unexplainable. And then you see, some of these guys will be friends for life. They buddy up, and I kind of do my shtick and just kind of hang out, and it's really cool to experience.
And that was for the beginner class, right? Kind of the
Well,
intro.
it's more of just an overview. So you could be an expert, you could be a beginner. It really doesn't matter. A lot of it's the theory behind, and then a little bit of practical application. Then theory behind, then practical application. So by the end of it, you have a better understanding of why you're doing what you're doing, and why the result is happening that you're either expecting or not expecting. And then for me, anytime I go to any kind of training, it's all about the in-between stuff. So it's like one little takeaway that I never really considered, which makes perfect logical sense, that I should have considered, is you have a bottle of polish. And when you're polishing a car, let's say it takes 2 days, you're doing it for 8 hours and 8 hours. And I always have a tendency to just leave the bottle open. You just leave the top off. And if you think about it, polishes have solvents, they have water, they have oils. And if you leave that open, solvents evaporate really quickly. And so your polish, if you leave it open all the time, you're gonna have an over concentration of whatever's left when the solvents and the liquids evaporate, and you end up with more dusting and less lubrication. So in essence, less cutting, or maybe not as good a performance. I never even considered that. Another example, years ago, I'd gone to an Auto Geek training, and it was really the first training I'd ever gone to. I think this was in like 2010 or 2009, something like that. And I went through the training with Mike Phillips, and the thing I took away from it was how to wrap a cord, that I always get yelled at for wrapping cords. So how to wrap a cord around the machine to make it look pretty. I've taken, granted it cost me $1,000 to learn that lesson, but those are the things that I remember, the lessons that I learn while I'm confirming my process. And I'd encourage anybody that goes to a training. You see me in videos, I'm asking all these dumb questions that I already know the answer to, but I like to get the confirmation of it. So you go into it with an open mind. And the main Rupes event, which I probably will wait till the end of the year to do another one, but the main Rupes event is not beginner, not advanced. It's just an overview, and then the advanced class will be the deep dive into paint correction and sanding and stuff like that.
Okay, so while you're up there, then I think you guys took a tour of Adams and maybe another garage up there. What all?
Something. I guess this would be a good place to talk about it. I keep hearing everybody telling all these whispers that Adam's been ousted from his business and he doesn't own it anymore, and all this stuff, this rumor stuff, this conjecture of Adam is not a part of Adams anymore, and he's been demoted, and it's only a matter of time or days before he's out. And they've been pretty candid with the story behind it. Derek, who is now Adam's partner, Derek came in, invested in the company. Derek is now the CEO of the company, so he's doing all the stuff the CEO does. The hiring and firing and of the executives of the company, and the making sure that they have cash and books and ordering and the operations. And so he's the overseer of the business. And he's been very clear. He's a 25% owner, and Adam is the majority owner. But Adam has taken on, he's relinquished the role of CEO, and he's taken on role of whatever, doing Adam, which I think anyone would aspire to when they have 100 or so employees now. The aspiration is to do what you love to do and not do the stuff just to do it. And so he's given up, diluted some of his ownership so that the company can go to the next level. I think it makes perfect logical sense. So, for instance, he was at the Barrett Jackson show, and then he was at the NADA show doing his thing. And that's where he wants to be. That's where he wants to be out and about doing that kind of stuff. And so it makes perfect sense. So part of my vision for Obsessed Garage, once I started to realize what I was on to, is not only access for me, but access for people either through watching or access to those few that can afford to pay to come to a Rupes event or something like that. So it's me and 25 other guys that hung around for Saturday, and we're standing there hearing the inside story, the real, from the mouth of the people that are doing it. We're learning Matt's story of how he became, that lead marketer for Adams, and whether you believe their marketing or not, or you like it or dislike it, they've had quite a bit of success, and it's really awesome to. I would think it'd be even awesome even if you hated Adams products, or I don't say I could hate the company or people around it, but even if you, I would enjoy going and listening to the chemical guy's story, and I'm not a fan of their products specifically, or even the business model, but I would love to tour and learn and be a part of learning about that. And so the whole idea I have behind, or one of the many ideas I have behind Obsessed Garage, is that discovery, that getting access to places and things and information, and just being a part of cool things that I otherwise wouldn't have experienced. And so it's really amazing. It felt great from my perspective to be the catalyst of that, to be the catalyst of the relationship development of the people that are there, and to be the catalyst of us huddled around the marketing table at Adams, and Derek telling us the truth, the true story, the story, or not the rumor, not the made up part, but the real. And that to me is what it's all about. So that was a great experience, and I hope that the guys that were there got the same take from it. And I've gotten to see the evolution of their business from the first time I saw Adams a year and a half ago, just complete chaos, to moving into a new building and some chaos, and now significant structure from where they were. It's really neat to see. They've implemented some things that are really cool. It's cool that they're willing to share and show it. Yeah, that was kind of cool.
All right, now that kind of leads into, there's a couple other trainings coming up in March when it comes to Rupes, right?
Yeah. So advanced will be. You don't have to be a professional to take it, but you have to be able to know how to use a polisher. Otherwise, you're not going to get the most out of it. So if you're uncertain, give me a shout. If you've been to the main, the overview courses, you can certainly come to the advanced. But I'm telling you, I think we've had sold maybe 50% of them at this point. So I'm telling you, you want to come to this thing. It reminded me how amazing it was to go to just the overview. The advanced is going to be, next level awesome. Yeah, it's just going to be great. So we have 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 15 spots available still.
Well, there's 5 signed up for Monday through Wednesday.
Oh, okay.
And then this one is for Wednesday, Friday. So there's 2 options there.
Yeah, so we have 9 spots left on the Wednesday to Friday, and then 5 spots left on the other. So, yeah, come, please. I don't want to have to cancel this. Shoot, I guess if 5 people come, that's even better for them, because they'll get full on. I know lots of people are considering it, but it's a lot of money, and you got to pay to get there and all of that. But I'm telling you, just do it. It's amazing.
So how did the traveling part go? You took your dad with you. What was that like? He was your chauffeur, from what I understand. How you guys were up
like
there.
That, yeah. That was great. Yeah, I mean, we have a 5 p.m. flight, Mountain Time. We get in at midnight here because there's a little delay because of the weather, and we go to start the WRX and it doesn't start. And so I'm doing some CrossFit at the parking garage, pushing it, trying to get it up to enough speed, pushing it up slightly uphill in the pouring down rain is 48 degrees. And we ended up having to call the road ranger guy to come give us a jump.
This is on the way back. So it's like after midnight.
Yeah. So we got home at like 1:30 in the morning, 1:45. Yeah, it's cool. I mean, I hate United, but they're stinky United.
You hate United, you hate Southwest.
Yeah, I love United in comparison to my hatred for Southwest. So yeah, United has the stinkiest. At least every plane I've been on from Orlando to Denver is the stinkiest, oldest, crappiest plane. The seats are all janky and yeah. So but that was good. We got there and did our thing and came home. It was great.
All right. Now, what I did basically, I went and saw the videos that have come out in the last week and sort of looked for questions in there. And so one of the videos that you put out, which was quite popular actually, Bryce put a lot of work into that video with the Sunjo. When you dissected the Sunjo, I think you had 2 of them that you took apart and then used a sledge axe on. So kind of tell us, what did you find out? What was your
first of all, I didn't realize that sledge axe was a real term. I thought I made that up. I was real proud of myself. # sledge axe. It's a hammer on one side and an axe on the other. I thought sledge axe was a really unique name, but if you Google sledge axe, you get all kinds of. And then we found a machete axe. Apparently, there's all kinds of axe variants, mutant axes. Yeah, so I wanted to recreate with the 3 of us the scene from Office Space, but I had too much time and effort for just a quick laugh. So we instead played some what is that? What is it? Copyright free YouTube death metal music, and I went out and I was really surprised at how easily that thing split. Like, I thought it would have been like shards of plastic here, but it cut through that sucker like butter and cut the motor in half. The whole thing was great. And someone's commenting that Chris had to go out and pick up the trash. No, I picked up my own trash from it. All the parts and pieces I dug out of the field there. So you can don't have to berate me for that. But
yeah, I wasn't on trash duty that day.
Yeah. So the Sunjo project is done. It was interesting to see the motors in there. I mean, I wanted to be certain that there was a different size, so the ones that are rated higher, do have a bigger motor. So theoretically, they should have more output. And then I had to refrain from pulling apart every single one of them. I did open up a couple of the AR Blues. They have the same exact pump as the Sunjos as suspected, so it's the same exact setup. I'm not sure if the Karchers are the same, and the Ryobis and the Greenworks sure appear to be the same pump, but different from the Sunjos. But I've got to make the video of maybe I'll make that tomorrow or next week. I thought I was going to make it early this week, but of the wrap up of which one should you buy. I just got an email from Karcher. We talked about this last week about being able to offer the K1700. And they said I would have some promotional ability to purchase. I know what that means. It's going to be, well, you were 8% margins. We're going to do 12. So we'll see. I'm not selling that frickin' thing and dealing with the headache for 12% margins. If it's 25 or 30 or 40, because they're always going to be on sale. But I think people will probably buy it from us if I provide the complete solution and then provide a blueprint for how to get it fixed when it breaks or get it replaced. Generally from what I understand, it's a 2-year no questions asked replacement policy. That goes to show you how much it really costs them, which is virtually nothing. So it's probably as a cost of $18 or $20 to make, but I don't know, we'll see. But that was the best of them. So that the Ryobi 1600, and then I'd avoid all the Sunjos and ARs just because of the fittings. I mean, if you're trying to save some money, then you don't want those because you got $40 of extra fittings you need to make the darn thing work. So why not? And the other pumps seem to be a little less vomity sounding too. Yeah. So. And
we do have a few of the pressure washers. We've got some Sunjos. We have one of the Ryobis left to sell with the ultimate package. So if you're interested in that, you can email me.
Yeah, and we have all the ARs. Yeah, all the ARs are ready to roll. We haven't put those up on anywhere yet. So if you want any of the ARs, give us a shout. Again, the prerequisite is that you buy the ultimate package, and it really, when you buy all the gear with it, it does make the experience quite a bit more. People seem to be raving about it. I don't know that I was that excited about it, but it does transform the experience, even if you are using a crappy pressure washer.
All right, we got a couple questions here, and we've spoken about this, and I think we're getting close to a decision here about the OG garage sale. So what's the plan?
Yeah, so that's what we're gonna. I think we're gonna do a Friday live stream of all the crap that I have to sell. So we're gonna call it. It'll be open house / garage sales. You don't have to come and buy stuff if you don't want anything. You just want to come check it out. We're going to go talk to the yarn lady and the dentures people and ask them if we can use the parking lot. I mean, I don't know if 5 people are going to show up or 500. Who the heck knows?
Those are our neighbors, by the way, the yarn lady and the denture people, just in case you're wondering.
I was going to walk into the yarn lady and simultaneously ask, 1, can we use the parking lot on Saturday? And 2, can I buy the building from you right now? I suspect the answer is going to be no to both, so we'll see. I was actually suggesting maybe Chris go and buy him some cookies or something like that. I don't know how that whole being nice thing works, so maybe you can figure that out. So we go ask her to knit you a shirt or something like that. Or
how much yarn do I have to buy for you to let us use your parking lot?
So I saw some really nice looking apparel in there. Maybe we can get her to have an Obsessed Garage knitted sweater, with a OG logo on it. I'm sure that people might like that. So I'm gonna pull all the stuff that I got. I was cleaning out the attic, just firing stuff off the top yesterday, trying to clean up a little bit. And so we've got some car parts, we've got some computer stuff, we've got some camera gear. I don't even know what I got. I got a bunch of prototype stuff like hose reels and hoses and air tools, all kinds of crap. So, I mean, all kinds of good stuff. Gems, beautiful, beautiful things. It's seriously, though, everything that I have is going to be nice and virtually unused. I got some leaf blowers. I got all kinds of crazy stuff to get rid of. And so we're going to do that. We'll live stream it. So those of you who can't come, and if you want to buy like my Gen 2 Apple TV that I have for sale, or my Canon whatever lens that I don't use, or my Focusrite Scarlett 2i2 that I because you're going to start your own podcast. I've got all kinds of gear like that we're going to live stream, share probably on Friday, and then Saturday we'll open up the doors and everybody can come and hang out.
So that's Friday, February the 15th.
Yes.
And Saturday, February the 16th.
Yeah, there you go.
Are the dates we're looking at there.
Yeah, so Obsessed Garage, yard sale, and open house. Come if you're local, or if you're not so local, come on and hang out.
Yeah, Prestige Mobile Auto Detailing says he wants to come down from South Carolina.
Cool.
And the temperature here, we have a couple people checking in with the temperature. Let's see what it is now.
Oh, Lord.
Currently here, I think it's 50 degrees outside.
I don't like to do anything that's popular culture. It annoys me.
Nope. That's why I did it. Yeah. So it's 50 degrees here. And in Chicago, it's like negative 1,000. So, yeah, if you're trying to get away from that cold weather.
Yeah, and what we can do if you're coming down, I'll probably come and do work on some project on Sunday, too, and I can get an excuse to get out of church again for like the 6th week in a row. Rochelle doesn't like it when I do that. So, yeah, I'm sure you can come down Friday, come hang out with us. We'll put you to work on something. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and do some stuff. And so if you want to come down for that should be fun. One other thing that the video will be up tonight, and sort of wrapping up the Rupes discussion of the training. We went out and saw Nick's garage. So Nick was one of the original attendees, or the attendee of the first event, and he lives right on the side of a mountain in Colorado, and he built a Morton building, which is the same building I had gotten started in the process with that I haven't built. And he kind of took us around and showed us all the ideas he had either taken from some of the lessons I've learned. He and I have discussed a lot of things. I sold him a bunch of stuff, and then all the stuff he was able to sort of teach us and show us, the obsession of building a building. And I've said this many times, but I want to build a garage at my house, but it has to be the right time and place. I mean, it becomes your entire existence. He even said, look, I had no idea how in depth this was going to get, and you're trying to figure everything out because you're trying to do it once, future proof it, put everything in it that you'd possibly want, and then being a part of the process of building it in order to get it done right, you become basically a general contractor of your own building. And so I want to be able to do that when I'm ready, and do that when I can, when I can focus on it. So a lot of that will be getting this place built out, and the which again will never be the case, but it will never be complete, but structured more than like every single day we're doing new stuff. Like we just installed the 401k yesterday. It's kind of neat. to do that.
Yeah, do you want to speak to that, kind of what you're doing around here business-wise? And I know that might lead into the bread conversation that you had.
Yeah. So, part of the structuring the business, right, we had to get occupancy. So we had to get first. So I'm thinking about logically, obviously you go to the state. So you go to Sunbiz, and I set up an LLC many years ago. So Obsessed Garage LLC. And then, of course, you open up a business account, and then, that's where the stuff goes in. So I set up an Obsessed Garage business account at Chase, and then you get a business credit card, right? And then for several years, I was doing it either out of my kitchen or out of my parents' kitchen. And so we didn't have any kind of facility. And then when we got this facility, I had to get liability coverage, to cover the property. And so I have a Hartford policy that covers liability risk, and then covers theft or fire and all of that stuff. And then we had to declare occupancy with the county and the state. Right, so I guess you went the county first, and then the town,
right?
Which I thought was a bigger deal. We kind of postponed that, and then we had to get. So we have a bookkeeper. So the bookkeeper came at some point in there to do. We do everything in QuickBooks, and so I have a P&L statement, and then of course our whatever you call it, our statement of value. It's leaving me right now. But you know what I'm saying? A net worth statement of sorts, and then of course I lease this building, so I don't own it. So we have renters type insurance as part of the liability coverage, and then we just got a payroll provider. So we were doing payroll through QuickBooks on our own, but I was finding that problematic. People weren't able to get weren't getting their paychecks. It just didn't feel a little wonky, a little home down home. And as we potentially hire more people, I want to have a system, and I want that system to work whether we have the 8 people we have or we have 30 people. I don't really have any aspirations to hire anybody anytime soon, but at some point we'll have to hire more people, so I want to build a system. So we've transitioned and hired Paychex, so Paychex to do our payroll services, and so we have a health insurance plan through Blue Cross Blue Shield, which is a crap ton of money. I pay 50% of everybody's health insurance. And so health insurance provider then is drafted from Paychex. They handle all that stuff. We also learned that we needed a workman's comp policy, which was a stinger. I need to dig into that and figure out what that looks like now that we have that installed. I think workman's comp is the biggest stupid scam ever. How about everybody just get their own insurance policy instead of paying into this big worthless pool of money that I'm sure is mismanaged and exploited? So I know we got a workman's comp policy and it cost me $10,000 a year, and so that's done. And so then one of the last things that I had on the agenda was to set up a 401k, and we're a startup company, but I want to have that for myself. And so I also have a background in this, so I was able to select and build out the plan myself. It's funny, we're sitting in here and the guys are like, well, here's, 318I, which is you're fully covered and blah, 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 and they selected the funds. And then here's a 311J, and this was the one that's most popular that people choose. And I'm looking at this, and I'm sure you could see the look on my face, like, this is crap. So I asked them, I said, so how many funds are there? How many funds, ETFs, how many index funds, how many choices do we have? Active, passive, what do we got? And so then he's like, I don't know, no one ever asked me that. So we log in and we look at the thing, and this is kind of a microcosm of my entire existence, right? And so I'm like, okay, so can I buy all 9,000? He's like, yeah, sure. And then a few minutes later, he's like, maybe I better call my boss and see, let me check on this. So the boss is like, well, you can buy 60. Or you can have 60 as an option for the plan. So I'm like, okay, sweet. Well, I want 60 then. I don't want this 312J and all this other bull crap. I want to make my own. He said, well, but then you have this risk and that. I said, I don't care. I'll punch everybody in the stomach if they sue me. So no one's allowed to sue me. So anyway, the 401k plan we installed. So it's I've set up many of them for clients in the past, but I've never actually built my own. And every client always chose the 312J or because they didn't want to do the work, they didn't know how to do the work, or had me design it for them. And so I was able to choose from the universe. I mean, I think there are 12,000 mutual funds in the world. They had access to maybe a third of them, maybe a half of them. And so I was able to build out a mutual fund offering, covering our bases from large, small, mid, index, international. I was able to get some specialty funds in there, real estate, precious metals, things like that, which most 401ks don't have because the provider is always afraid of offering it. So now we have a pretty robust 401k plan. Paychex isn't the greatest provider in the world, but it is a lot easier at this point. If our 401k becomes tens of millions of dollars, I'll go get a more sophisticated provider. But I found the more sophisticated providers tend to have less choice or less option, and so it was a pretty surreal experience to be installing my own 401k for my own corporation. So that's pretty cool. And then I got a match, doing a certain match, and hopefully as the corporation becomes more profitable, and I'll make more lucrative, guaranteed matches, and it would behoove me to have all of you guys financially taken care of and responsible as well, so that I don't have to, it'll be, I think, a better work environment. So I'll do things like publish what I'm invested in, and then let other people choose if they want to copy that or not. Of course, that there's liability attached to that, but yeah. So now we're a legitimate operation. It's an S corporation, with LLC, I guess LLC protection. I don't know when it would make sense at some point to become a C corp. Probably not until you're significantly larger. I mean, I think we could survive and be happy where we are today forever, but I suspect with some of the crazy ideas that I have, that this will continue to get bigger, at least if I'm fortunate enough for that. I don't have aspirations to own some multinational conglomerate, but who knows? I mean, I'm just doing me, and whatever happens. This is how it's working.
All right, random question here, spliced in here. What kind of wedding band do you wear, Matt? Although today he's not wearing one, but
none. My finger got too fat, and so I have a white gold wedding band, and I just haven't gotten one. I haven't gotten one to replace it. Gotcha. I need to get it resized.
I have I rotate back and forth. I have the Qalo, is that how you say it? QALO, the little rubber, I don't know what it is, synthetic thing that I wear to the gym. And I started wearing it here because my real ring one day went flying off, and I had to go dig around through the Swiss tracks to find it. And so I don't wear that one anymore.
We all know that if anything falls in the Swiss tracks, it disappears for life.
I found it. It took a while, but I found it. Let's see here. Chris and Matt got their haircut. That's good that you noticed. Chris, we need to see the shirt twinning again. What shirt do you have on? All right, let's see.
I don't think you have the shirt, do you? Oh, come on. I think he does this on purpose. He goes and sneaks in there and grabs the shirt from the bin.
This is my shirt. All right, so yeah, we're matching again. These are also available on the OG store, I think.
I think you're a better salesman than I am, at this stuff.
All right, here, this is a good one. Dan Pfeiffer, he stopped in on Monday. Thank you, Matt, Chris, and the OG crew for your hospitality this week. Looking forward to visiting again. He's from Minnesota and was down in Boca on business.
I'm sure he has many Facebook posts about glad I'm not in Minnesota with the minus 70 or whatever stupid posts.
Were you ever into motorcycles, Matt?
No, I had a 2007 brand new YZF R6 full Yoshimura titanium exhaust. I bought the thing. I didn't know how to ride a motorcycle. I'd never ridden a motorcycle. I had to have them drop it off at my house because I didn't know how to ride it yet. I went to the Harley Davidson Buell school, rode a Buell Blast to learn how to ride the thing. And then I puttered around the neighborhood, to do the first 600 miles of, and I got all the gear, the helmet, the whole get up, and all the stuff. And then I never wanted to take it anywhere because in Orlando at the time, I was living in West Orlando. It was like the motorcycle theft capital of the world, And I was 23 years old, so I couldn't afford insurance for it because it was like $3,000 or $4,000 a year for insurance for an $8,000 bike. And so I, kind of putted around. You're supposed to keep it under 4,000 RPMs for this, back before I just let cars and engines rip from the beginning. But I was following the break-in cycle. And I putted around, had them come pick it up to change the oil, then had them bring it back home. And then I'm like, okay, let me go drive this thing around for real. And so I pulled out of my neighborhood. It was a 4-lane, but residential 4-lane sort of divided little highway thing. Speed limit was 35, but it was like a Tuesday afternoon, and I went out and did a first gear, second gear pull to whatever 14,000 RPMs. Was scared to death, and got pulled over down the road for doing I think it was 87 in a 35. I sold the bike I think 6 weeks later, and that's the story of my motorcycle career. I liked looking at it much more than I liked riding it. I'm just way too big of a pansy for that. It's just not fun to me. So that's my motorcycle story. I sold it with 900 miles on it. So I said I had a YZF R6. So I had a motorcycle for 900 miles. That's the scoop.
Any idea when the 50-foot Cobra Jet hoses will be back in stock?
I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah, the answer to that, Kevin, is no. That's something we've ordered. It's been around a month ago. It's getting those from our supplier has become more and more of a challenge just because of the quantity we're requesting, and so we're trying to get them to beef up what they're doing.
Yeah, and I assume that this would be part of the deal in that we'd have a difficult time with keeping up with the pressure washing packages. So we had 75 hoses here, and then boom, they're all gone. And so this is the same thing that happened with when I came out with the Mosmatic gun. It was the same thing that happened with the Krenzel. Same thing that happened with all this stuff that they just can't keep up for a while, and then we figure out how much we need, and then we do the same thing with the Cox hose reels. I mean, apparently everybody takes off, like corporations take off the whole week of Christmas and New Year's, the whole 2 weeks, the whole end of the year. And so now we've got a plan for their laziness. And no one's getting off Christmas ever again here. So we're changing that paradigm. Call me Scrooge McMatt. Make a meme on that one. So yeah, we're out of Cox hose reels. We're out of a lot of the Prevost piping stuff. We're out of frickin' everything. It drives me crazy. I start running around yelling at everybody. I don't know. So the hoses, I've just asked MTM to quadruple their on stock. I'm probably going to go get a couple of storage units, and we're just going to start hoarding this stuff because I hate being out of it. But the 50-foot hose is worth the wait. Buying something else is not a replacement. It's not a like. This hose is different than any other hose I've ever seen. Same thing with a garden hose. It's not just because it's a Continental hose doesn't mean it's the same Continental you buy at Home Depot. I wish it were, but it's not. Or should I say, wish it was? Wish they were. So yeah, we'll have it soon. I don't know if they're due any day. Same thing with hose reels.
Yep, we want to have it in stock. Like, I get frustrated too because that's the emails I get. When is this coming in? And if I could, I would have it all here, but I can't.
Because the simple thing to do would be to just go take out some massive loan and buy like a zillion of each product. But the problem with doing that is then cash is tied up. You're losing money, and it's just not a smart thing to do. I don't have the space for it. So you're doing this dance of I have no idea how much people are going to buy of this stuff. We're doing this dance, and we'd hope the suppliers can supply the product, but then you guys buying from us creates shockwaves through the system, and it becomes a difficult thing to manage and keep under control.
Which brand vacuum were you using in that video where you switched out the seats in your E92?
That was just like the crappy Rigid from Home Depot. Is one it's one of the shop vac that I've had for years. So you'll see a vacuum in the video tonight. So make sure to check that out of a tour of the Nick's Morton garage. You'll see a pretty nifty little vacuum solution that I'm probably going to chase here at some point.
Any plans on making a video washing the Raptor?
No. I'm going to hire somebody to start washing the Raptor. It's a mess. I'm going to have Rex take care of it from here on out because I just apparently can't get it done. The 2 minutes that I have, because I keep doing all this crap. I mean, now I got water spots on the M3. I've got seat squeaking. I create all these problems for myself, so I should stop complaining. But now coils and spark plugs for the 1M that I wasn't planning on having to do, and but that's the spice of life, Chris.
There you go.
This chaos that I create for myself. So maybe I should do something washing the Raptor, but it's going to need coated again, polished and coated again soon too.
Here's a good question. When is the 1M decon going to start?
I'm waiting to get all the car all kind of set up mechanically. So I think because it's got Seacort's UK 3.0 on it, it's not terrible. It's not all swirled or scratched out. So I'll probably be doing the detail a little further into the ownership process here, probably closer to when I'm going to give it away. And so I called or emailed an attorney last night, so I'll call here shortly on that. So the polishing and correction and then coating of the 1M, I'm almost certainly going to remove all the clear film and all that stuff too. So, because whoever gets the car will likely, I would guess would probably not be their primary car or not collect it or not beat it. So I think PPF on it is probably not necessary. But, whoever gets it could put it on later if they wanted to.
All right. How often do you completely replace your microfiber towels, or how often do you switch them out and move on to new ones?
I usually only do so if I find that they become hydrophobic. So if they become so loaded with product that that they become problematic, like all of my blue towels in my wash bay, I had to replace. Part of my initial use of Bead Maker was flawed because all the blue towels they'd become hydrophobic from using all the different silicon dioxide sprays and all that stuff, and using testing it on all kinds of products. And so even though I'm washing it with Micro Restore and really caring for them, the towels look great. They were just pushing. It was almost like I waxed the towel, and in the past, I haven't really had to worry about towels, cycling them or when to throw them away because I'm always finding new towels. So this is the first time really in probably my entire car guy existence where I've had towels long enough where I didn't replace them with some other variant and had to have to keep an eye on when it's time to replace. Usually towels for polish removal.
Do you have any experience or do you know anything about the lemon scented Iron X that's now available?
No, I mean that's always been available.
Okay.
It smells just as bad. Supposedly lemon is a little bit stronger, according to Corey, than the cherry or the standard. I haven't found any issues with it.
So. Shane Wendell wants to know how many boxes of zebra cakes does he have to bring to trade in for a Krenzla?
Well, what is that? 99 cents a box. So you would need 1,200 or 1,575 boxes.
There you go. It's your math lesson for the day. Before we get to that, actually, talk about buckets and what they're looking like in the store.
Yeah, Bryce has been working on that, so you can buy all the little parts and pieces of the bucket stuff now. We have now all black logos. We have both versions of red rinse, blue rinse, red, green, yellow. No, we don't have those colors, but we have all the different variants of the bucket vinyl. So you can buy just the, and they're grit guard dollies, so you can get them anywhere, but they're the grit guard dollies, the grit guard little plastic thingers, the little clamp thingers.
Bolts.
Yeah, we have 3-inch casters in both red and gray, so you can choose that. The configurator isn't live yet, is it? Yeah, so the configurator isn't live yet, so you have to kind of build it, pick and choose on your own. So we have issues with getting it to ship properly and all that stuff. So, but you can go and choose now to buy everything. We have everything in stock here. Before we were just drop shipping. So if you wanted buckets, you had to just buy the whole $345 package with shipping included. Now it's $2.95 if you want the whole package, and then it calculates. So if you're in Tennessee, it's cheaper than sending it to California, and it comes in a freaking giant box. It's like 36 by 16 by 16 or something massive. So it's expensive to ship that thing, and but if you want one bucket or 4 buckets or blue or red or whatever combination you want, you can do it now. So, and we sell quite a bit of them, but I think we'll probably sell more now that people can kind of pick and choose. Just those 6-gallon buckets alone, I think they're worth it. It's cheaper to buy it from me than it would be to buy from Uline. I mean, Uline, you'd have to buy 5 of them, and you'd have considerably higher shipping costs from Uline than you would from me, unless you're buying pallets of stuff from Uline. What do we have the buckets in there for? $10?
$10.50, I believe.
Yeah, so $10.50 per bucket. Cost me $7 for it, so I'm marking it up $3 or something like that, and you're gonna pay for shipping. But again, if you were to buy them from Uline, they'd cost you $20 a piece plus whatever it costs to ship. So probably $25 a piece if you tried to buy those 6-gallon buckets on your own. So take that, people.
Well, I think part of the reason we were getting people who wanted to buy just one bucket. Or my wife says, okay, buy one bucket, but you're not spending $345 on buckets.
You can piece it together one bucket at a time.
Yeah, you can just go one a month or one whatever. But then you'll see as you do this, I mean, it adds up. The buckets themselves are $10.50 each.
Well, the argument would be you're just marking it up. You're jacking it up. You're charging. I can find this for $42, and you're charging $51. Well, because it has 2-inch wheels versus 3-inch wheels. So stupid can't be fixed. There's nothing I can do about that. I'm doing my best here.
Let's see. Get another good question here. And this leads to, I see some emails from people who reach out to you with, hey, I have a potential product. Mm-hmm. Whether it's a new wheel cleaner they want you to try or new this. And then occasionally you'll get one in, and you posted a picture this week of the hose plug. So can you tell a little bit of that story and how that came about?
Yeah, I really enjoy that. I mean, it does stress me out a little bit, and then people have great ideas, and there's lots of guys in the the audience that make stuff. I don't make squat. I don't know how to make anything, and so they make stuff, and there's lots of great ideas, and I can't chase them all. Maybe someday we will, and we'll have we'll create this database of people that can make cool stuff and improve things. Like if it wasn't such a massive undertaking, we just toss the whole custom install thing and make something else. But the amount of time and effort, that's the part I think people underestimate, is how, if you were doing one thing and you were launching one product, you could focus your sole existence on it. But I'm doing a lot of things, and so I can't chase down every single product, every single deal. But this one makes clear sense. It's a plug that you put on the end of the hose on your hose reel so it doesn't dribble out. And it was part of the thing I wanted to do at some point, but he did it for me, and so I'm buying a couple hundred of them, and he'll I forget what his name is. I want to honor the source. I'll mention it in a video when we talk about it specifically. But he came up with this cool little, and it's a hex. I like to call it a bolt because I think bolt sounds cooler. I know it's not a bolt; it's a nut. But I like to call it a bolt because I think bolt shirt sounds cooler than nut shirt.
Yeah, that can go a little sideways if you.
Yeah, the OG bolt, the bolt design, but I know it's the nut design, and I know that drives people crazy. But anyway, it's the OG nut bolt nut. and it's just really subtle and really clean, and you pop it into the end of the hose so it doesn't dribble all over your floor while it's sitting there. And assuming you use it in regular order, you shouldn't have any mold or mildew or any issues there. It shouldn't be a problem.
Well, I was interested as soon as I saw it because we have people come visit, and we'll pull that hose out sometimes for them. And as soon as you pull it out, water slings all over me and all over the floor.
Yeah.
And as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, that's good. That it might be overkill for some people, but
I think it's going to be $10. So those of you who are giving me a hard time about it being $45 and $18 to ship, it'll be $350 to ship, and because that's a minimum charge for priority or I guess first class package. and I think it's going to be $10 or $12 at the most. So suck it, losers.
All right. Speaking of losers, we have a couple questions about car. What's next? Lots of GT500 talk. I guess you mentioned that in one of your E92 Drive video. What's the word there?
I've contemplated calling Justin, my guy from Weichert Ford, who's hooked me and Adam LZ up on all of our cars, all our Ford cars. And I've been contemplating sending him a message, seeing if he can get me one. I'm sure he won't be able to. I'm sure they have some better customers than us that would want one in the beginning here. But maybe in the second or third allocation round, maybe I could get one. And it would be beneficial for all of us to get it and just to have it and try it and dial it in and experience it. And the only disadvantage of a car like that is there really isn't going to be much to modify on it, or not as much. So it would behoove me to wait until Lethal Performance and American Racing Headers and these guys get some parts for it. Was it JHT or whatever? I'm forgetting some of the Ford aftermarket guys, but waiting for them to get some options for it to do exhaust and intake and things like that. But yeah, I may try to get one. So I think what might be smarter is get a Corvette, 1M, get a Corvette, either raffle or sell the Corvette after 6 months or so, and then GT500. I think that'd be cool. I'm not one to have to chase the newest thing. Like I know I see, and it's a epidemic on YouTube where whether you're reviewing detailing products or using detailing products, or you're dealing with the cars. Every YouTube personality feels the sense, or technology, the need to be first. I don't give a crap about any of that. I'm just doing what I feel like doing when I feel like doing it, and hoping that people are interested in it. So yeah, I do think I'm gonna get a Corvette next. And I don't know if I should probably buy a used one, so I don't get destroyed, because those things plummet like a rock. Because they're junk. I mean, I don't know. That's an opinion. No opinions, Matt.
Did you drive one? Have you driven one before?
Yeah, my freaking head hits the ceiling. How do you have a big fat American car? It's a car made for big fat Americans, and the seat is so high that my head. I'm only 6'2", and I'm not even that fat.
Short fat Americans.
Yeah, I guess it's for short fat Americans. So I'm gonna be yelling and screaming about that and trying to figure out how to fix that. But yeah, the Z06 that I drove, my head was touching the darn ceiling, and I'm not even that big.
You can join the local Corvette clubs here in the villages.
Yeah.
They welcome you.
I love the Corvette people. I mean, Corvette people are more passionate than anybody. So I just kind of razz on it a little bit, because it's, there's, the typical guy with some white New Balances, jean shorts, and a sparkly Corvette shirt is the, which, I'm going to be in a video looking at, with some socks, halfway up your calves, some white socks, and some Ray-Bans or something like that. That's the plan. And then in the winter, you got to have a Letterman's jacket that says Corvette all over it, and sequins and sparkles. And so your big guys better get used to, all of your clothes. This whole place is going to have sparkly stuff all over the place.
You have neon signs, Corvette here in the office.
There's all kinds of cool stuff I'm going to be able to do, and then I won't have an opinion anymore. I'll have an experience. I hate that we have the same shirt on. It's bothering me.
Mission accomplished. You want to speak to membership? Any updates on the membership program? What that looks like?
No membership updates.
All right.
I do think for the 1M, when I figure out what this raffle is going to look like, I got a long way to go before this happens. So we're probably talking about July or August at the earliest. I actually want to set it up and enjoy it for a little while. The car's kind of a mess right now, so I'm kind of working through it. But I think I'll probably also figure out a way to have some cool shirts or something that people can buy that gets them a spot into it. And I don't want it to make it where you've got 30,000 spots, and there's 500 people that have 17 tickets each. I think that muddies it. I'd rather keep it simple, where you have a 1 in 1,500 chance to win it or something like that. And then I'm gonna look into Canada, your favorite place. I'm gonna look into see if I can do it in Canada. I know that Quebec is a big problem, and the research that I've done that if you're Canadian, you could win it, but then you have issues with registering it and all that business.
No Canadians allowed, sorry.
Yeah, and then whoever wins is going to have to, you're going to have to pay the tax on it, so you're going to have to figure that out. Go take out a loan. Don't cry me a river, you just won a $75,000 car.
Any plans for a dedicated video on using decon soap?
Yeah, I guess, at some point. I've decided against doing product-specific videos where I stand there and talk about it. I know people generally don't like that. It's kind of boring. It's kind of lazy. And so I'm going to do more product placement, where I'm just using it and less selling it, pitching it. It just doesn't go over as well as I'd like it to. I like those kind of videos, so that's why I made them. But it really hacks people off when I do that kind of stuff. What about, bread? We can talk about.
Mm-hmm.
So since I'm no longer a financial advisor, now I can encourage people to lever themselves and buy Sonic cabinets and Swiss Trax flooring and lots of expensive detailing equipment. So I was looking for projectors. I've been thinking about a projector and we'll see how much money I get back of all this crap that I've wasted money on for the Obsessed Garage sale. Right, so when I sell all this stuff. Oh shoot, I forgot. I've got TVs and stuff to sell, all kinds of crazy stuff. So if I get enough money back, I might do a projector in the theater. But all these dudes. It's funny. I'm in a home theater group, and somehow it's become. They should change the name to Budget Home Theater. That you're berated and tarred and feathered if you speak to anything of quality. It's kind of like, I want Obsessed Garage to be, we just talk about whatever needs to be talked about, and you're not going to get beaten up if you buy a $2,000 something or other. Well, in the projector world, a decent projector, like low quality decent, is like $5,000, and then a screen is another $2,000. So you're 7 G's into like entry level. Well, all these poros are buying like $700 projectors and saying how they're great. It's just not physically possible. A good projector is like $50,000. Like that would be like a Porsche level projector. And then it still has an inferior display. It's an inferior display to like a 60, 65 or 77 OLED. But you get kind of the experience, and you can do okay with a projector if you really spend some money. And the current projector is called laser projectors. And so I was, where I'm going with this is that I was just kind of searching around. I found this really great site. I think it's a Magento site, but it's called Audio Advice, and they're out of, I think, North Carolina. They have an amazing website, very, very similar to what I would want Obsessed Garage to become longer term. And I noticed they had pay, I wouldn't probably use it, but pay $4.58, no interest financing. I was like, oh, that's pretty neat. And it just looked clean. And so then I clicked on their financing tab, just kind of looking at how it's set up. And there's this company called Bread. I think the standard of a WooCommerce or a Shopify or a Magento type site or a Square site would be Affirm. But I just never liked how their interface was, and I don't know much about their financing terms. But this one is very clear, very simple. If you have 3, 6, 12, 18, and 24-month financing options, and we can choose what we want to offer. And there are interest-free and interest-bearing. And the interest-bearing seems pretty reasonable. It's prime plus something, a reasonable rate of interest. And it costs us X amount. It's a transaction cost, so we don't have any liability from an underwriting perspective. The only problem is that like if I was going to buy $10,000 worth of Sonic cabinets, then I'd want to take advantage of like 12 months interest free or something like that, or 12 months low interest bearing type relationship. But I think we have to we have to, as a business, have to build up credit. So the most credit worthy people, I think, are going to be max at $5,000. So what it will do is give people the ability to, let's say you wanted to buy the custom install solution and we were doing 6 months interest free. It's not same as cash. Same as cash has issues where, for instance, at Sound Advice, we used to do this all the time. We were selling home theater stuff. You do 12 months, same as cash. So it's interest-free with a minimum payment. If you miss the minimum payment, then it would retroactively go back and charge you, all the interest and arrears at like 20 to 30%. So none of that bull crap. It's very cut and dry, very clear, where you basically set up an auto draft where, okay, you borrowed $5,000, 6 months interest free, take 5,000 divided by 6, so you're doing whatever that math is, monthly payment. And then what I'll probably do, and that costs us 4.5% or something like that. So it costs me 4.5%. There's no interest to you, and then we'll do some periods where we'll do like 18 months, or running some sort of promotion. You can do 18 months interest-free financing, and I think we'll probably do those when we get more credit worthy with them, and because. I mean, I know if I was going to buy $20,000 worth of Sonic cabinets and someone was going to give me 18 months interest-free financing, not same as cash, but actually interest-free financing, I'd do that. Why not? And then it may put some people over the edge to maybe the whole point of it is to give people the ability to buy more than they otherwise would have to help offset the costs of the financing. But I was really intrigued that it was very simple. There's a very simple transaction costs. I think the greatest cost is 10.4, 10.5%, something like that it cost me to allow you to finance. That's if we did non-interest bearing. So I can kind of find a healthy combination of interest bearing versus non, and provide these solutions. So the audio advice site was really clean, really simple. You can do when you initially just do an inquiry to see what your worthiness is. It's a soft pull, and then when you decide to actually say yes, I would like that, it's a hard pull on your credit. But it's so if you could do 27 different inquiries to see, okay, does this make sense? And then when it's time to actually sign up for it, and they have a really great interface. They don't accept every merchant. I mean, we had to have a long, drawn-out process to get approval, because they're looking for credit worthiness of client base, and we have that that target client base of people who it will make sense for. And so I think even if you were, let's say you're going to buy $7,500, you're going to buy a $2,000 floor and $5,500 worth of cabinets because you're doing your garage and some lighting, and maybe you wanted to finance $2,500 of that. Again, now that I'm not a financial advisor, I can advocate that. So way better than putting on your credit card, which I'm sure lots of people do anyway. So that we're going to be rolling out here over the course of the next several months, where you'll see buy or set up bread. So we'll see. I think it'll be cool. I think a lot of people will take advantage of it. I think a decent percentage.
And for some of our products, like those any Crensley unit, that's what we get a lot. Is I want one, but I just can't swing the $900 at one time. But if you can stretch it out.
Yeah, so hopefully, and again, I'm not a big advocate of doing that, but I know some people, that's how they do it. And it it may help the store. I think it will certainly help the store, and just give people the option, which is it's not as simple as you think. So we have to go in the back end and build it and explain it and teach it, and I've got to learn it. And I'm going to make a video on the financing page to really explain. And I'm going to be perfectly candid. Here's what it costs me. Here's what it costs you. Here are your options. Here's why I'm doing it. And do it my way, instead of beating around the bush and sugarcoating and pretending like this is some benevolent thing. No, I'm hoping it increases sales by 25%. That would be good.
I have an 06 BMW 330 CI convertible. Has the German cloth soft top. What would you use to clean the top, and what to protect it?
I'd clean it with regular car shampoo in your normal car washing process. You could also dilute, so like Optimum Power Clean. and which is a all-purpose cleaner. Be gentle with it with I would probably use a soft bristle, like a leather cleaning brush, like the Swiss Vax, or I guess the Swiss Vax brush is a color lock interior cleaner brush for designed for leather and fabric. So I would use that on it, and then I would treat it with the Aerospace 303. There is a company called I think it's called Ragtop, RAGGTOPP. I think it's yellow. Very appropriate for that style. They have a whole system. I've never used it, but they're one of the few companies that I know of that focus solely on taking care of soft tops and convertible tops. So check that out.
All right. Any update on a timeline for the Karcher stuff being up in the store? I brought up we had a couple people ask, and I brought up our back in stock requests, and that's the number one thing people are looking for is Karcher stuff. So what's our plan there?
Bryce, we got to get cracking on that. AR is done. I told Bryce to take a break and work on the buckets. So he's working on buckets and Prevost. So I should probably shut her down, and we should probably chase the Karcher. Karcher would be a big thing that I'm working on. The one thing you can do if you want to circumvent the system, once the 50-foot hoses get here, if you choose any of the Ryobis, with a 3.0 nozzle, or any of the Greenworks with the 3.0 nozzle, it's the same kit. So for the K1700 Cube, K1700, 18, 19, 2000, you could do a Ryobi kit, and it'll be the same. It uses standard fittings. So all I'm going to do is copy the Ryobi kit and change the picture for the Karchers. Now we have to go, and what I've been slacking on, the K3, 4, 5s, we have to go figure that out. Figure out what's the best solution for that. I want to tear a couple of them apart, see if we can maybe recommend modifying them to get rid of the goofy proprietary connection. Because as it stands now, you have to just extend the hose. You can't replace the hose. Now in Europe, there are some companies that make a proprietary to M22 connection, but I haven't been able to source it here, and it's kind of the only places I found them are kind of janky. So who knows if they even have it.
For the upcoming Rupes Advanced event, is there a plan to visit Adams on that trip as well? Is that part of the plan?
Yeah, I think so. We can do that. It'll be kind of tricky for the first group because I think most people will either come in early Monday morning or late Sunday night. The second group, we could certainly do, because I'm right into the second group. Right, so we have lunch together, and then the second group starts. So I would say an Adams tour would be for group 2, so that would be an advocate for them, and they're always happy to have us there. So I'm sure I could orchestrate that.
You got any thoughts on silicone dioxide versus titanium dioxide?
Yeah, so we had a discussion about this with Dave Phillips, and I've had many discussions about this offline with many other professionals or people in the industry. So when you're dealing with a coating, an actual coating, a resin delivered, solvent based resin delivered coating, I think it matters more than if you're dealing with a spray that's claiming to be silicon dioxide content or have some sort of silicon dioxide content. So I wouldn't get hung up on it. CarPro has TiO2, their titanium dioxide product, and then of course, a lot of them claim that they're silicon dioxide based. Silicone is in a zillion chemical compounds, chemical makeups, and it depends on how it's structured and how it connects and how many there are on what the result is. So I'm less inclined to give any crap about what any the MSDS or SDS report they're called now says about anything about how much silicon dioxide. Who freaking cares? I think what you have to do is you have to buy it and spray it on the surface, because it doesn't matter. And so this move toward talking about whether your spray is titanium or silicone or whatever other bull crap they're making up, I don't think any of that matters. I think what matters is you put it on the surface and how does it look, And for some, how does it last? I don't even care so much about longevity for my spray silica or my spray whatever. Like Polish Angel says that their spray is titanium dioxide based. So, those type of delivery systems, the spray and water activator and all that stuff is, again, it's less important what they're pitching and what they're marketing, and you just have to buy it and try it and test it. I found them all to be pretty much bull crap. So, Bead Maker to me, which does contain, from what I can tell, Dave doesn't really even speak to it because he doesn't want to be lumped into the people that are all the companies that are making up a bunch of crap just to market. I'm guessing there's some silicon dioxide base to Bead Maker, but I don't think it really matters.
We have a lot of, this is interesting. We have some, as an ex-financial advisor sort of questions. People want to pick your brain about that stuff. Maybe we could have like a whole podcast about that one day.
What are they asking me?
Okay, if you had 5K or if you had 100K right now, what would you do with it?
Yeah, I mean, that's hard because, I'm sworn to silence, if you will, of providing any kind of advice. So I still have a license. The license lapses after 2 years. So after 2 years, I'll be able to answer those questions. But, if $5,000 or $10,000 is a waste of your time, now you're just playing. So I wouldn't even worry about investing that. I'd put it in a CD. Wait till you have some money to invest is what I would suggest. So when you're dealing in hundreds of thousands, if you have an extra 10 grand, you should probably be maxing out your 401k. So stop saving money in your taxable account and get it in a tax deferred account is what I'd say. But I'm not providing any advice. Scratch that from the record. No advice from me.
Let's see here. Any idea what size fitting the Prevost blowgun has? We'd be offering the plastic tip one in the future.
I have two different versions. I have or three different versions. So I have the ones that don't have any kind of fitting. So the full handle blue ones don't have any plug on them. So you can choose to put whatever plug you want. So I carry now industrial plugs, the industrial standard or the Euro high flow, and they're 1/4 inch. So it's a 1/4 inch threaded connection. And with Prevost, the plug is the same size, 1/4 or 3/8. The 3/8 is just the threaded part of it. And then the other blowguns, their green ones are Euro high flow, so they come with an integrated. So the S1 blowguns are the little stubbies. They come with an integrated plug built into it, so you don't replace it. So you either buy the Euro high flow or the industrial standard. In the U.S., outside of, say, California or that whole West Coast corridor, pretty much everybody uses the industrial standard ISO 6, which is denoted blue, baby blue, by Prevost. And so I've decided to not just do the Euro standard. I'm also doing the industrial standard for those who already have that. So we have 1/4 inch male and female plugs, so 1/4 inch NPT threaded, which those would fit on the blue full handled guns. We also have the S1 guns. Then I also have 3/8 inch connections. If you had a 3/8 inch hose of some sort of 3/8 tool, which most people won't, most will be 1/4. And then I have the Euro high flow version of that. So male and female 1/4 inch, male and female 3/8, and then we have the S1 guns. So the blue full handle guns, which Bryce will have up here soon in the store, you just choose which male plug to buy, whether it's Euro or industrial. And I'm going to start educating everybody on this to help you make the decision. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. The key is just having access to it. I mean, there's nowhere to get this stuff. Amazon is starting. Somebody's putting it on Amazon, which kind of sucks, but it's hard. You don't know if you're getting the right thing. For me, you're going to get the real deal right thing.
All right, here's a good one. You have a busy agenda, lots going on. How do you manage to take care of your cars? A lot of people struggle with finding time or making time to do stuff like that. So how do you balance that, or how do you choose to create time?
Well, like today, I'm at there doing an O&R wash, just a quick wash prior to the. I'm going to change out the grills and change the keyhole cover thingy, and then start to work on the coils and all of that. So sometimes I'll do a quick wipe down wash. I'm cheating a little bit because I have a dedicated wash bay, and I tend to wash a lot more in the summer than I do this time of year because it's cold for us. So I think you do it in the garage, or and that's why I'm gonna have to hire somebody to take care of the Raptor. So I'm just having too much darn fun to go out and wash a car every week like I used to when I didn't have any responsibilities, and didn't have any kids and all of that. So I struggle with it too, and so I would say each car gets washed on average every other week. Maybe even a little less, because when I have right now I have the 1M, so when I have the M3, the 1M, and the GT3, so the RS is clean, the 1M is about to be clean, the M3 is not, and so at times I'll go 3 or 4 weeks in between a wash because sometimes the car doesn't get driven as much, and I'll attempt to manage that, when depending on rain and stuff like that. In the summer you don't really have a choice. If you drive it, it's going to get dirty. But this time of year, I can kind of manage. Say, well, the GT3 is clean. Let me just leave it clean till I can get the second car clean, and the Raptor keeps getting sacrificed. So that's why I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna be Mr. Car Wash guy and having somebody wash my car for me.
Well, and I could speak to not to that. I'll steal some from the leadership class that you helped put me through, but I keep a pretty good calendar. You're not a huge advocate of a calendar yourself, I know. But I keep my calendar, and at the beginning of every week, I put in things that are important to me. For instance, going to the gym. Right now I have a month-old daughter at home, and I don't want to go after work because then I don't get home till late. So I started getting up a little bit earlier, 3 days a week, and I hate going to the gym in the morning. But I go because I want to, and so I had to create that time in the morning. My wife and I sit down, we kind of plan out things in advance. We put it on the calendar, carve out an hour here or an hour here. Otherwise, you get to the end of the week and you're looking around like, where did that hour go? I never made it to the gym. I never washed my car. I never spent time with my kid, whatever it happens to be.
Yeah, it's a good way to do it. I find that now I have to calendar things. See, for me, the big transition has been the people part of it, right? And that's what takes up a lot of my time, is whether it's following up on comments on different platforms, it's dealing with employees, you guys, dealing with the people here. Of course, before I just had wife and kids, that was it, and then I had just a few clients that I'd pretty much taught to leave me alone, and so now we have this extra element of all these people that show up here all the time, and I want to provide them with time, provide them with some information and provide them with what they came for. And so something always has to give, and so the difficulty for me has been the people element of it, and so scheduling things. I do have to schedule meetings with people. Otherwise, I find it best for me to just because nothing I'm doing has to be done. So I schedule the things that has to be done, and then I do the other stuff whenever. And the gym is usually not a problem for me. I usually just go, and it depends on how amped up I am about going or not, on whether I'm eating properly or not. So the eating thing is something I have to figure out how to schedule that better. But yeah, I like the idea of using a calendar, but I don't like scheduling my activities because then I don't adhere to it, and then it just stresses me out. So instead, I've kind of learned to schedule the things that have to be scheduled, and then let the rest just kind of ride. Because I don't have anything that has to be done.
Right. It's funny. I think I heard you say once to Adam LZ about, in one of his videos, you're talking about he goes crazy to do all this stuff, but if he doesn't get it done, who cares? And like we each have little projects that we're working on, whether it's for you here or for us at home. It's like, I got to get this done. But if we didn't get it done, nobody cares, and it's not something that's going to change the world if we get it done or not. So it's good to prioritize the important things. A couple of people asked about, can you speak to the differences with the new Mark III machine that's coming out from Rupes?
Yeah, Mark III is pretty simple. New trigger, so variable trigger. It has now 2 pads on the top, which is incidental. You can lay it on its back a little bit more comfortably. It has a new bigger numbers on the thumb dial. It's a little easier to reach. It has a longer power cord, which sucks. I hate that long power cord. And then it's slightly different in the the actual gear set and everything is the same, but it's probably done electronically, and tuning, it's just a little bit smoother. If you have a lot of experience with a Mark II or a Mark I, the original, or the ES machine, the original machine, it feels a little different. Is it worth buying it? No, but if you like new stuff, then you're going to want it. It is an upgrade. It is pretty nice. I can't speak to price. I know what the pricing is going to be. I can't speak to it until Dylan tells me I can. I don't want to dishonor that, otherwise he'll never tell me again. So I know the pricing. I know the launch date, and let's just say it's going to be very soon. Yeah, very soon.
So we can look to have that in the store in the coming months. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, Chris, did you get your company Obsessed Garage truck yet? I know who that is. That's Carlos, and unfortunately, Carlos, no, not yet. That's coming later this year.
So give me the pitch. I want to hear the pitch. What would you need what would be the purpose of
Well,
this?
you don't have time to clean the Raptor, and so if I had my truck here every day, I could use it to run little deliveries back and forth. You could use it for videos all the time.
What does the cleaning have to do with anything?
Cleaning?
Just it won't be clean anyway? Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
Okay.
We could test out all the new products on my truck.
A full Obsessed Garage wrap on it.
Right, yeah, you could wrap the logo.
No, I hate wraps.
Put neon Obsessed Garage logos.
So then I have an Obsessed Garage truck riding around that's all dirty, and the wrap is all wonky, peeling up on the side and stuff.
Exactly.
That doesn't. You're not pitching this very well.
All right, I'm going to come back next week with a better pitch.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, let's see what time it is. It's 12:22. All right, your mom is probably out there watching and
it's slowing us down. It's the reason why we dropped off earlier.
We got to give her a warning that's going to end soon, so she'll stop watching.
Yeah.
I wanted to speak to a couple because we've talked about this each time with the events that are coming up. The Monterey event is the next one, April 25th through the 28th.
Mm-hmm.
I looked for it in the Facebook group, but I couldn't find an actual event. The other two are listed as events. So who's in charge of that Monterey event?
That's Max.
All right. So Max created an event in the Facebook group, but that's at the end of April for those out on the West Coast, right?
Yeah, and then we're gonna go tour. It's gonna be pretty neat. We're gonna Gordon McCall, who is I guess owner operator of McCall's Motorworks. He also puts on some of the premier events, the Quail, and I forget what, the McCall Revival or something like that. It's one of the events at the Auto Week or Car Week, I should say, in Monterey in August. He's invited us to come check out his garage and check out a new facility they're building. They're building a big, car guy type garage, storage, condo type facility. So we're gonna go check that stuff out. And of course, drive some great roads and stuff. And I am booked, so I'm going to that. Same thing with Seattle. Seattle is at the end of July. I'm booked to go to that. I'm also booked to go to the Smoky Mountains at the end of June. So I will be at all of those. And no, I'm not going to the Memphis Revival, so I can't go to every darn city. So no more events, at least until later this year. So when somebody plans on doing the Minnesota drivers meeting, I don't think I'm gonna make it. So let's plan to go to one of these. So we got 2 West Coast and 1 East Coast. Again, I'll be in Los Angeles at the end of March, and I may have some time to grab some dinner or something like that. I'm doing Leno's Krenzler. We're gonna do that at Leno's Garage. And then I'm doing the Smoking Tire. And then, what is that, the 23rd?
That's the week.
26th.
Yeah, the week of the 25th, Monday,
Yeah.
March 25th, that week. So if you're in Los Angeles and
then I'm going to McGuire's. And I got to call Jimbo back. But I'm going to be going and trying to figure out if I can go and see how the Decon soap is made. And teach everybody how to steal it. Which, whatever. Good luck with that.
All right, so here you go. Max just commented RSVP via email for the Monterey event. So there you go for you.
That's timely. I like that.
Yeah, good thing Max is watching.
So I think that's what we got. What we got going on. I never really think about how much stuff goes on in a darn week in this crazy life I now live. It's pretty insane.
It's funny. Somebody asked at the beginning about making a video of the new stuff that we have here because they didn't think we were coming out with too much new stuff. And I just sort of laughed. I was like, we have something new almost every day in the store.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all the Prevost stuff, Bryce has got up to his eyeballs, creating stuff. I call the sign place. I'm going to brand the building. So I'd like to get some signs and change this ugly green thing out here and put the nut bolt out there, the nutty bolt, and put some. We're gonna put just bright neon lights everywhere, just like the Christmas lights. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Yeah,
that's good. That'll go with the Corvette theme.
Yeah, I called the guy about doing a garage door opener. We gotta do heightened security in here. I'm gonna have to make sure to metal detect you guys before you come in. And that's the story. So we're doing our thing.
Let's see. I think that's it. Yeah. Oh, one more thing from Max here about the Monterey event. Details are in the announcements section of the OG Facebook group. So if you want the details, you can go to the announcement section.
Right in the header there. Yeah. Cool. So anyway, thanks everybody for watching, and those of you who are going to watch later, which will be significantly more. Maybe I need to start pitching the super chat so I can make some dough on these big events. Maybe people giving me some money. What I'd like to do is when I go in the smoking tire, to get everybody to donate lots of money so I can get asked to go back on there, so we can show up with the full power and force of all of us snobby dudes who only like German engineered products. So we can make them like us by buying their friendship. That's what I'm hoping will happen. I might get Bryce and Chris to make some fake profiles and start donating some.
Just $1.
$1 75 times. That would be cool. I wonder if you could do that. I guess you could.
I think so. Yeah.
Get the attention.
And by the way, one other thing, we got to make sure if you're watching, if you're enjoying what you're seeing, make sure to click the like button. Matt loves it when we pitch that sort of thing. If you don't like it, if you hate Matt, go to the dislike button and click it twice. It's easy.
Yeah, watch. You just like to see that change. You like to see the power that you have to move the 100 people that are watching us.
Last time we started out with more dislikes before the video had even started.
What's our ratio look like now?
I was depressed. 26-3, like to dislike.
Yeah.
So that's your mom is the thumbs down. My mom's probably watching. Megan and Harper May are watching at home. They're
three thumbs down, saying "Get to work, you losers."
Exactly.
All right, people. As always, stay tuned for more crazy.